Hey everyone, welcome to early morning here at Fishy Business. It is time for the weekly update and we're going to get on to the fish with Reagan and I in just a couple minutes. First thing is I want to show you a few things that came in this week. Okay, if you have the Neptune system and you have a computer for your fish tank, this is the Neptune Sky. We just got these in. I have two of them. It is the new lighting system for Neptune. This is their first foray into the lighting part of the market. And while I don't have any experience with this, it's that new, this is supposed to be a really special light. So kind of check it out real quick, come in and take a look at it. Hopefully we'll have one on display here pretty soon. But if you want to be one of the first, I've got two. Okay, so our very own Connor Laster is breeding these fruit flies. And we are introducing them as a live food for your freshwater fish. These are flightless. They are a great natural food source for any freshwater fish, even something as simple as community fish. So while everybody's out there feeding regular feeder fish and things like that, you ought to try these frightless. Frightless? It's not October yet, so they're not frightless. They might be, but they are flightless. And these flightless fruit flies, say that 27 times, might be the perfect thing to give your fish a live, natural food. Okay, so last week I went through some of the new tanks. As we stated last week, anything over 75 gallons, as far as drilled, undrilled tanks, are not easy to get right now, and we won't start seeing them again probably until October. But a couple of tanks are trickling in right now, and I want to show you what came in this week because we sold some things from last week. So if you'll come with me real quick, we're going to do this fairly fast. We did get in one Marineland overflow drilled 125. So this is a tank that we did not have last week. I only have one of this week, but I do have one. So if you're in the market for a tank with overflows, be it saltwater or fresh, know that I have one 125 that came in this week. Okay, but the coolest thing is the most popular tank that we've been selling here recently, a lot probably because of the coastal stand, is the Marineland 110. Now this is a 4-foot by 18-inch, so it's basically the same footprint as a 75 and a 90. Doesn't take up a lot of length space, but it takes up a good bit of height. I did get 3 of these. So these are the first 110s to come in a while that are actually drilled. I did not get an undrilled one, but I did get 3 that do have the overflows. Okay, of the 2 150s that we had last week, I am down to 1. So I just want to show you that real quick. It is an undrilled 150. This would make a killer freshwater tank. And I'm showing this again just in case you guys didn't watch last week's video, just because it is super cool. It is undrilled, but this is an 84 gallon. It's 3 feet by 18 inches to the back, so it's a fairly small footprint, but a very large tank for the footprint. I've never had one of these in before. I have one of them, and check it out. It's really cool. Okay, one more thing I want to mention real quick before we get to the fish is all the new decorations that came in. Most of these are aimed at freshwater or fish-only saltwater tanks, but I want you to see because there's a pretty vast array of coral decorations that came in. You can see all the different color sea fans. I don't think we've had this many colorful sea fans ever. A couple cool pirate ships. You can see a lot of the wood that came in, some more sea fans. And tons of driftwood. I know there were people last weekend looking for new pieces of driftwood, and I got tons of it. There are a lot of, there's some African root, some opani wood, spider wood, but you definitely want to check some of these out, and they are littered about the store. We put some in fish tanks and things like that, and then we have the pallets full again. So if you've been in the market for driftwood, maybe we didn't have what you wanted last week, we might very well have it this week. Back in the rock room that we kind of talked about a little bit last week, we got a lot of new rock in, a lot of new slates, really pretty pink quartz. This isn't the prettiest piece by far. That's a pretty nice one. But lots of dragon rock came in this week, which you can hardly, even if you don't have great skills at aquascaping, that kind of takes it for you because it looks so cool. Pretty much anywhere you put it, it's going to put on a show. Lots of new rock. Some of this zebra quartz rock came in this week. So yeah, a lot of cool new stuff. Okay, so I want to start the freshwater update with showing you a little bit of a new section we have. It's actually 2 new sections. So while we were keeping some of the hospital tanks out here on the floor, we decided we wanted an invertebrate system, a freshwater invertebrate system, so that we could better keep the invertebrates in their own environment, plus draw specific attention to them when you come in. So if you're looking for invertebrates for your freshwater tank, these are going to be the areas where you're going to see them the most. Okay, so what you're looking at right now are a separate habitat just for the crayfish that we have. You can see the electric blue. We have a fireball lobster kind of hiding behind here that you can kind of see. There's tangerine lobster up here on the top if Connor's arms can reach. And coming right down here, we have some snow white lobsters that are in here. So crayfish now have their own set of tanks so that we can offer you more in different varieties, and there are new ones coming in all the time. But I wanted you to see what we had here, and let's roll over to the other invertebrate section, because what I have over here are some feeder crayfish. A lot of you have asked over time about these for some of your larger bodied, like South Americans, more aggressive fish, things like that. So I do have feeder crayfish if you guys want them. I also have in here some mystery snails. We're keeping a lot of the snails and shrimp in these sections too. So there are 2 sections with 3 20-gallon tanks full of invertebrates. So you may want to make special attention when you come in and you're looking at the fish. If you don't notice the invertebrates in with the fish, you will notice them in their new tanks. Okay, so I always like to start with the oddballs, because the oddballs are, for me, the coolest fish that we have. What you're looking at right here are ropefish that came in this week. We've been out of them for a little while, but have them back in stock. Lots of varieties there. There is also, nestled in the ropefish, a Tiretrack eel that I think is trying to make his way back into the rock, where he can kind of get away and have his own little section. Also, just because they're in the tank with them and I love them, Geophagus gyropari. This is a really cool fish that gets very large but not very aggressive, so it is very adaptable in a lot of situations. They move the earth, that's what they're called. They move rocks around the tank with their big mouths. But again, they're not a super aggressive cichlid, so they can go in kind of a semi-aggressive or a little bit more communal tank if you have larger fish like Congo tetras and things like that. Definitely cool. One of the coolest fish we stock are butterfly fish. African butterfly fish, that is. These are very body style, if you take away all the elaborate fins, are very similar to an arowana, and their nature is very much like the arowana in that they stay on the surface of the tank most of the time. Now these just came in yesterday, so some of them are hanging out on the bottom, but you can see they'll kind of gather and hunt from the top of the water. They have super elaborate fins. When you look at them from the surface, it does look like a butterfly or giant moth has landed on the tank. They're very cool. They get nowhere near as big as an arowana. So they make a really cool conversation piece in any kind of an oddball tank. When they're young, they can go with most community fish. When they get a little bit larger, they do have fairly large mouths, though they're not naturally aggressive. They are opportunistic. So butterfly fish, I've got them right now. Very cool. I got one African knifefish this week, and he is not super shy like most of them typically come in and are. So if you've been in the market for a knifefish of any kind, and there are many different varieties, I got one of the common ones, and it's doing healthy, very alert, and in really good shape for a fish that just arrived. I didn't bring them up last week, I don't think I did anyway, but the electric blue jack Dempseys are back in stock. Again, a great color. On these, to be as young as they are, usually when they come in, they can be a little washed out with the turquoise blue and the cobalt that's in their bodies. This week, everyone that came in, super sharp. Okay, so Bettas. I'm going to be showing Bettas probably every single week, because every single week Kevin has just been getting in some incredible Bettas, and they are all the rage right now. So if you've got a small tank, or you want a small environment, this koi half moon beta that came in is just incredible with the colors. You can see a variant right next to it, another type of koi half moon right here, and then yet another koi half moon that's up and alert this morning. Bearing in mind that these all came in yesterday afternoon. These are just 3 of many different koi that we have right now. Koi. No, not koi. These are 3 of many different bettas that we have right now. But we have a lot of koi half moons this week in various colors. So if you are in the market for showy bettas, the ones I showed last week, all sold. I have a whole new batch this week. We don't always have these every week, but strongly want you to see these. Glass catfish. They are just like their name says. They are see-through catfish. These are not in any way aggressive. They are great community fish. They came in fairly large size this week, but I mean, I can talk about them, but just look at them. They're really cool. We sell out of these every time we get them. These are some Farlowellas. I'll try to see if I can get, there you go. You can kind of see, these are young Farlowellas, so this is a good size to try to put in your tank. If you want an oddball algae eater that will make a statement and will go and adapt in a lot of different tanks, Farlowella catfish is really cool, and they're not very expensive. Okay, earlier this week I got some small angels in. These guys are doing phenomenal. Now, a lot of times with angels as well as neons and things like that, we do have, there can be issues with shipping and things like that, which is why we always try to hold them, make sure they're doing okay, and blah, blah, blah. Well, these are doing fantastic. So if you're wanting to introduce some angels to your tank, you're wanting to do that in a situation where you want to put them in a communal type environment, this is a good size to do that, and I have a great variety. Okay, so if you're in the market for neons, we've started keeping these in our planted tanks, and while we're not too excited about catching them for you, we absolutely will. The idea is to better the health of the fish, to get them stabilized quicker. If you've had problems with neons in the past, a lot of it could have to do with how you're keeping them versus, you know, where they're coming from, how they're being handled up until the point they get to you. The last couple of weeks, our neons have been doing phenomenal. We've been ordering them in large quantities when we can get them, and we're keeping them in live planted tanks, and they are doing phenomenal. So, if you have in the past wanted some neons, maybe had bad luck with them, you may want to reconsider now when you take a look at what we have now and where we have it. Okay, I'm also supposed to show you the pearl scale goldfish that came in this week. We have a few different types, as well as what I just noticed, which were some young koi that came in. This is a perfect time to introduce them to new ponds before it starts getting cold outside. You've still got a couple months to do that, and you get them established while the weather's still good right now. They'll winter through with no problem, and you'll have big koi next year at a very little price this year. And I still have my tiny little Chinese high-fin shark that I only have one of, that I only have 1 week, that really, really, really wants a good home.
Good morning, everyone. It's Reagan here. I'm going to show you some of the fish that I got in yesterday on Wednesday. I'm also going to show you some of the very rare, brand new, first time ever having these things in the store, those fish that I got in on Monday. So we're going to go take a look at the really crazy variety that I have right now. So this is one of the first times, or the first time ever, that we've had this fish in the store. It's Naso hexacanthus, also known as the sleek unicorn fish. Some people also know them as the blue-tailed Naso. These guys are stunning. They have a beautiful, beautiful grayish silver body and an electric cobalt blue tail that you can see right now. Like I said, this is the first time we've ever had this fish here in the store. These guys are normal tanks, they're omnivores, and eat meaty foods, but also seaweed. If you want a fish that Fishy Business has never ever had in its store before, now is the time to come get this sleek unicorn fish. So these are pearl eye Clorkii clowns. Clorkiis in general are going to be a little bit more aggressive, and they do get a little bit larger than some of your other types of clowns, but the pearl eye Clorkiis are the prettier special variant of the normal Clorkii, and I got in about 6 of them, and they all came in a great size, a great weight. They have nice blue periwinkle pearls that spot right above their eye, which is where they get their name. If you want to try a pair of these, absolutely. None of them are paired up yet, but you can always get 2 and then watch them pair up in your tank. The pearlite Clorkiis are a really, really beautiful variant, and I recommend getting some Clorkiis. So this little bright yellow spunky thing is a lemon peel dwarf angel. Lemon peel dwarf angel. I had a lemon peel mimic tang last week, and this week I got the actual dwarf angel. Now these guys are not reef safe. They will nip on softer polyps, corals and things like that, so they work better in a fowler tank or a fish only, but you're really not going to get a brighter lemon electric yellow with beautiful blue on its eyes and on its gill plate as well. And these guys, like I said, are a dwarf angel. They don't get very large. He'll get a little bit bigger, but he will fit in most size aquariums. So this is the smallest little baby Volitan Lionfish that I've ever seen literally in my entire life. This thing is tiny. It is maybe an inch long, maybe. But it's so cute right now. It can fit in really small tanks, but Volitans, as a lot of you guys know, do get very large. So full grown, you will need a very decent size aquarium, but at this size, he can fit in almost anything right now. These guys are predatory, not necessarily aggressive. Getting them started on foods such as live ghost shrimp and things like that is going to be the best way to feed them at first, but with some patience, they can be transitioned over to some frozen foods. So this fish is one of my favorites of all time. This is the blue line triggerfish. He came in a little thin, so I'm going to try to get some good weight on him, feed him clams on the half shell, meaty foods like LRS chunky to get some of that weight on. But the blue line triggerfish, once he gets all acclimated and happy, he is a stark cobalt blue behind bright gold shimmery markings. You can already kind of start to see him turning that really nice blue color. Blue line triggers can be a little bit more on the aggressive side, so make sure that we house him with residents that are going to work well with him, larger predatory fish. But blue line trigger you can never go wrong with. So just as the baby Volitan was the smallest lionfish I've seen, this is one of the largest Desjardins sailfin tanks that I've gotten into the store. So the Desjardins sailfin tang is the fancier variant of the normal sailfin. These guys come from the Red Sea. That's why they have the name Desjardins, and they have freckles and speckles all over them. They have really nice yellow lines in their fins, dorsal, tail, pectoral fins, everything like that. Desjardins sailfin tanks are absolutely stunning, and they're extremely hardy as well. So if you would like a sailfin tang that's a little bit prettier than some of your normal ones, and you want a very, very hardy fish that's going to live a very long time and get along well with almost anything, the Desjardins sailfin tang is for you. So this is the orange shoulder tang. This is a very small one. So if you have always wanted an orange shoulder tang but know they get over a foot long, now is your time to come get him, because like I said, he is small. He's probably about 3 inches, so he's going to fit in a lot of aquarium sizes right now. He gets the name orange shoulder because of that really nice orange patch on both sides of him on his shoulders, how he gets the name orange shoulder tang. These guys do turn into one of the most beautiful tangs. They get a line split down their body, so the front half is darker, the back half is lighter, and they become stunning, stunning fish. So if you've always wanted an orange shoulder tang but know how big they get, now is your chance to come get the little one. So anytime I get Lamarck's angels in the store, I always like to point them out because these are one of the most reef-safe angels possible. The only thing they've really been known to eat are some green star polyps, and I always like to say, I'm sure some reefers out there wouldn't mind some of their green star polyps being mowed down a little bit. If you've always wanted an angel or even a dwarf angel in a reef tank, the Lamarck's angel is going to be the safest one to come get. That being said, there isn't anything that is ever 100% reef safe, just know that. But this guy is beautiful. He's a dwarf angel. He has freckles and polka dot spots all on him, beautiful lines. The Lamarck's angel is definitely a go-to.
Kept playing hide and seek with me.
I love that piece of wood. That's why we're ending the video here. We got it in when we were unpacking wood yesterday, and there were so many cool pieces, but this was my favorite piece. So I took a rimless tank and just made it the focal point of it. But if you are into aquascaping, that is a piece of wood you should seriously check out. Anyway, that has nothing to do with the video. That has to do with me. What was I gonna say? My usual monologue, which is where I tell you God bless and have a great week and all that stuff. Thanks for paying attention, watching the video. There are a lot of freshwater fish that I did not show you. I think Kevin got one of every type of needlefish, garfish, There are lots of cool fish in the oddballs. There are elephant noses that I couldn't find this morning that I know we have. There were some chili rasboras he wanted me to show you that I couldn't find this morning. So there are a lot of really cool things that came in. Saltwater still is due in on Friday, as well as some more freshwater. That's tomorrow. Have a great week, and we'll see you here next week.